podcast. Another twofold, but that's not the way to start.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Podcast,
we can do
podcast. Get your podcast.
Get your podcast. Get your podcast. Hurry.
Well,
The best podcast in town. Only a few copies remain. Hurry.
This one was different. This one started with the song. We never do that, but this one started with a song.
Wow. So the beginning, like when you press play, was the song.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, that's what
Wow.
happened.
I hope everyone had their headphones like volume up all the way.
Yeah,
I was thinking like 90%.
because that song is banging on volume.
Bitchin'.
It's bitching on the volume.
That's
so
what the actual MP3 is called. Bitchin'.
It's true. Not gonna lie.
So I hope
It's a
your
lie.
ears didn't bleed, and you weren't listening to like some super archaeology 101 podcast when they talk. And then archaeology, the whole
like like something from the 70s where it's like the gain was low back then, so you're like crank your volume and then you go to 2.
and you hear the
super intimate, and then all of a sudden just this song comes on, and it's just bitching. Okay, so so we did these themes things, right? We did the Tim's movies. We did Nicktoons last time with
If
Phil.
you're with us, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm curious
Still
what you
so
think
far.
of the Nicktoons. There's a lot of Nicktoons.
I really wish we had feedback, but we need to
Yeah.
we need to sort out our lives a little bit with the podcast.
Send an
which is
email
what I mean.
to Full Podcast PO Box, Johnny's apartment, at a brown brick. No, brownstone
Brown Brick
townhouse
Road.
in New York.
It's totally legitimate.
Brown
Our office is
Stone.
on Brown Brick Road.
New York,
Of course.
Washington State, United States. So
How you doing?
So we did these theme thingies. So we got another theme thingy today. This one's dumb. Really.
Dumb. Yes.
It's dumb. I want to say dumbass theme, but it's like that doesn't make sense. But sure.
Yeah.
No, it makes
So here's the
no
theme.
sense for the twofold show, but
It's okay.
We'll reveal
It's-
now.
Whatever. Let's just go.
Yeah, reveal. So we watched a movie because I had a T-shirt of it once. That's the main thing.
Yeah, so
I can explain everything, but that's
pretty much it. Well, there's actually 2 T-shirts
Yeah.
that Tim wore.
Yes.
Kind of cycled through back in the day when we were
We were
youngins.
kids.
I think like
It's an interesting
teenager
story,
years,
well,
early
like,
teenage
why?
years.
Yeah,
even
well,
had those
we need to talk
t-shirts.
about the story of the T-shirt.
We
Yeah.
should, yeah.
Okay.
Well, who wants
I
to
can
do
talk-
it?
So where'd you get the
I'll do it.
T-shirt, and also say what other T-shirts you had that you kind of rotated?
So back in the day, as we talked about, and what is it? Was it longtime listeners are aware of some of our history? So I grew up in the Yugoslavia, which was most of the 90s in war. There was the Civil War of the early 90s, and then the NATO bombarding. So that put us
Modern
the
day
country,
Serbia.
modern day Serbia and Vojvodina. And Yugoslavia split into different countries: Croatia, and Bosnia, and Slovenia. And so we 90s were wartime where I grew up. Not specifically the town where I was in. There was no combat.
But there was
Just
like
maybe
war
999
happening during that time.
Yes, very close, 30, 40 kilometers away in Croatia. So we had a lot of refugees from all around the country that kind of migrated based on, because it was civil war and it was a little bit like national, not a little bit, it was basically national kind of xenophobia. So we had different ethnic groups kind of migrating from different parts after the war. So we had quite a few in our town as well. So we had a lot of humanitarian stuff come in. And mostly it was food, stuff like, like my misprint. Like one time this whole truck of Snickers came.
Do you know where you
think,
got that
like-
stuff from? I always wondered.
Oh, wow.
The humanitarian thing.
Yeah, like Germany mainly.
Oh, okay.
That's what like my parents and a couple of other Christian organizations were the ones who were kind of communicating and organizing those to come in, and then they kind of distributed. And you had stuff like like a misprint on Snickers. We had like a whole truck of Snickers for that one summer.
Yeah.
And like maybe they like when they do yogurts and they swap from one flavor to another, sometimes they get mixed and they can't sell those.
I have a story. I remember when we would
They
come.
can't
to,
sell the mixed ones.
when we would come to visit
Yeah, like
you,
the label is wrong on the yogurt. It's like a strawberry label, but inside it's like it's a peach. So they can't sell that. So they send that to places like this.
when we would come to visit you in Serbia, I remember you guys were always like super well stocked with this. Now, European listeners will know this brand is called Vitalis cereal from Dr. Utke is the brand.
Dr. Edgar's.
And I remember I was always like, how do you guys have so much of this specific apple, like green apple muesli crunchy pillows?
Oh, dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all the time when we came over, I would just like wake up and like, oh, there's just so much of this. It's just like an abundance. And I was just eating that Vitalis cereal. And then obviously I heard there was like donations and things like that.
Yes, they were basically donated by these companies. Usually, it's things they couldn't sell, or like there was a misprint or something's wrong. Like it's not like it's not edible, but it's just you can't sell it because so something's wrong with it.
So I think I know where this story is going, but I'm not sure to finish it.
Yeah, so basically, we get food stuff, we also get clothing stuff, and clothing stuff was usually donated stuff. Like the way you donate. You have these boxes, and you take your clothes that's still in one piece. You wash it and donate, and it gets distributed to usually, third world countries or refugee camps or anywhere else like that. And so we got during the 90s clothes like that, but also it was donated by let's say your company didn't do so well, now you have lots of merch. So like what you gonna do? You're gonna donate that. So
surplus.
Yeah, surplus, or just like you have nothing to do with it. So rather donate it than just throw it away.
In the case.
Yeah.
So so when I was a teenager, so some of that stuff that came in, there's a couple of them I didn't like, so I didn't wear them, but there were two that I thought were like, oh, there's a cool design. One was a gray t-shirt that said Virtuosity, the ultimate killing machine. And that was like Matrix theme. So I was like, yeah, virtual reality, this is cool.
The
logo
was like sort of a golden orange 3D looking block. At this.
Okra, like an Okra font. You know what I'm talking about?
Like 3D
squarey font.
Oh,
like when you put the gold effect on Microsoft PowerPoint in 1998, that's what it looked like.
Virtuosity.
Yes.
When I saw the other one was, kid, I was like, the ultimate killing machine. What is this? Like Tim always has this brutal stuff. I was like, all about death and killing.
Brutal
He's
metal.
I thought you were. I was like, so horrible. Anyway, go on.
And then the other one was a white t-shirt that said Clockers on it, like with red lettering and some. And the thing is that I had no idea what these were. Like I didn't understand that. I was like 12, 13. I don't know what. I thought it was just like whatever donated. But only years later that we found out those were actually movies.
It's interesting because the Clockers one, I always thought that you knew what it was, and I didn't even think it was a movie or something. I thought it was maybe some kind of inside, like, I don't know, cool thing. It's like, don't you know Clockers? Everyone knows Clockers.
I thought it was like a band or an album.
Yeah,
or something.
That could be it too, yeah.
I thought it was... I thought it was like a sports team, to be honest, because I thought like Lakers and so this is Clockers. So this is the Chicago Clockers.
I love
could be
the Clockers team looks so like differently designed, not sports at all.
Yes. I thought it was just like I didn't know. Nor did I do Virtuosity. I thought it was just like a cool print. Like you would have like just like some kind of
some
sentence,
random
some kind of statement. Yeah. So today we thought like let's watch a movie that was on Tim's old t-shirts, and Phil put the picture of us because that t-shirt was used in a movie we made in a long ass time ago called Men in White. That's like a rip-off of Men in Black. We're just in white t-shirts and we're like hunting aliens that are little children inside little children.
Yep.
So that's a good movie.
You mean little children disguised as aliens?
No, aliens disguised as little children.
That's what I wanted to say.
And they come in cool 3D little spaceships that float
Here
by.
I am trying to fix your definition and failing. Go on.
Yeah. And then that's it. So we watched Clockers. I had no idea what Clockers was until I watched it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did. So that's the intro of why we did what we did.
That's what we did.
That's how we spent 2 free hours on a Sunday night.
Yes.
It's supposed to be free, doing our own things. We spent it watching Clockers. So,
what do you guys think of Clockers?
I want to. Well, I just want to hear Jacob's opinion because it's
just
been
so glad
great
it's over.
having him
just
comment
so
on it when he was watching
Really?
it today.
Oh yeah, so happy it's done. So happy. So
You
happy.
did not enjoy this movie?
I barely could hold my attention, honestly. there was a couple of scenes where I was just like, oh, that's interesting. A couple of lines, I wonder. And I was like, they're back to this boringness. And I was like, finish. And then it finished.
So Clockers is a Spike Lee movie. It's
1995.
visually kind of 1995, visually similar to some of the stuff he did earlier. It's about the urban environment, about violence, about living in a project, about, being a black person in New York, just the culture, violence, drug selling, the sort of, the interactions you have with the police, and just that kind of slice of life stuff. I think it's based on a book.
Yep.
There's a little storyline in it. It's a little bit broken up. It doesn't really spell things out to you, so you kind of have to figure it out. You kind of like plunged into the storyline and you're getting piece by piece. So it needs a little bit of active watching for you to start figuring things out. I don't think it was as successful as far as like box office and ratings as was his previous movies.
Oh, I thought you meant. I don't think it was
thing.
as successful for me as a watcher to watch this, and I don't think
clearly
like,
they had a marketing budget clearly to make t-shirts.
Yeah.
They have t-shirts.
they're great quality t-shirts. It looks so cool. The poster's great.
American Apparel. I don't know
Yeah,
if it
but
exists nowadays.
I didn't know about this movie. I've watched Spike Lee's movies. I've seen Malcolm X and I've seen 25th Hour. And I think I've seen Do the Right Thing. I don't know. It could have been just seen like lots of clips from it because it's like a cult classic. One of his first movies that made it big. He plays in it, and you get all sorts of other stars in there.
Wasn't it like Barbershop or something?
Oh no, that's a Tim Story film, and that's nothing to do with Spike Lee. I don't think.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, Jacob, come on. Tell us about.
Yes, Jacob. That's what I want to hear.
Honestly, I think you guys just caught me at the completely not correct mood to watch a film like this. I'm just sorry. I really did not have any interest. Like, I just didn't get into it. It was long. Just not a good. I think because maybe if we were like, I don't know, if there was. I just honestly, no words. I just was waiting, and I was like, why? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing watching this? And it's like, and then it finished, and I was like, whew. Good, because I think this is one of those movies that you really have to, I guess, get into, and also just the way it was like written and presented, and kind of the pacing of the movie. Mm-hmm. You just have to be in the right mood for that, and I was not.
Oh,
what's your relation to the genre of this movie? Like, I would say, like there's two things. There's that like sort of, just that African American culture, the urban environment, that kind of thing. Yeah. And also there's the 90s crime vibes, the scary cars,
yes.
Heat in New York, driving. Like, do you like any of those two genre of movies? Do you have like a connection to those, or that's usually not your vibe?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of hard pressed to think of many films I've seen in that genre or that subject matter. I'm not sure. I think maybe if you like mention some movies, I think I might have seen them, but I don't know. I think that something with like sort of the, you have to kind of get into that sort of mode of understanding kind of the motivations of characters like this, and why they find themselves in situations like that. And you have to be kind of like interested to understand that kind of, at least storytelling in this sense. And I don't know. I think I was also just not all in the mood for any kind of like criminal movie or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whereas usually you guys know me. I'm the crime.
Yeah, you're
lord.
a crime.
Crime lord.
But I have like
just
suggested
crime all over the place.
movies before.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, a crime film, or at least
I don't mind crime.
It has that subject matter, but
I know he doesn't mind crime.
Really not, we've been watching like Parks and Recreation. This is like totally.
This is like the opposite.
Yeah,
so I'm just not in the mode.
a la mode.
And then, by the way, I have a story to tell. I was gonna watch this yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like 1 a.m.
Oh
And
no!
I was like, I need to watch this. And I was thinking like maybe I'll just do like the last late night sesh I ever did on the Twofold podcast was watching. Phil, what was that movie you brought in? Was it something like Hard Boiled or something like that?
What, The Devil All the Time?
Yep, the one with the famous actor from
Spider-Man.
China, I believe.
What?
No, the hard boiled. That's
Hard
John
Boiled
Woo
with
movie,
Chow.
right?
Yeah. With Chow Yun Fat.
I know what I'm talking about a little bit. And that was the last late night I pulled. It was like, what was it?
That was a long time ago.
2019, I think.
Yeah, that was the summer of 2019.
Yeah,
I think I
remember
put
it was
a-
like,
Can you believe that?
late night on that one as well, because it's like that movie is like amazing, but it's like then there's like a hospital and children are being thrown out, and I just remember
You didn't like the hospital.
I remember that. There was
middle of the night, and I'm like, what is this? Why are these
Because
children?
I started that, I think it was like 1:30 a.m. or something, and I was really like, I'm gonna pull late, all night, like a late nighter, and it's gonna be interesting and fun. It wasn't bad, but it was just when it's like you have that weird feeling where it's just like 2 hours and it's almost like 3, and you're not even close to getting ready for bed, so you'll be in bed by like 3:30, and that was a strange experience. And so I thought I was going to repeat that after such a long time with this movie. And I was like, I'm going to start at 1. And I'm like, I'll be finished at 3. It'll be good. And I'll be, I will have watched the movie for the podcast. And then, perfect. Sunday, I'll just, stroll into town and we'll talk about it. And then I press play. And I watched like 10 minutes.
The opening credits.
I first got annoyed by the opening credits. I'm like, this is taking so damn long, and I was like, skip the opening credits.
Oh no!
I'm fine with opening credits. Like,
come on.
Seriously, I'll be honest with you, I'm fine. Like when I watch anything, I just watch from start to finish, no skipping ever. It's like that's the rule. But with this, I don't know what happened. I was just like, what is going on? Like this is never ending. Like the opening credits are still going. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, what I'm gonna do? Break the rule. I'm gonna skip. And I skipped the opening credits, and I was so tired that I didn't even know what I was doing, that I ended up in some 10-minute mark or something.
You skipped to the end of the movie.
And I thought I was like, that's fine. Like, my skip maybe like 30
no,
seconds.
you're tired.
And I had no idea what's happening. And I'm like listening to them talk, and then like our main character is like, he goes into the bar.
Yes.
And he starts talking about something, and they're talking so quietly because of the dynamics of my, of the movie was just so, big, that like good dynamic range. So it's just like, they're so quiet. I'm like listening. I'm like, what are they talking about at the bar? Like I can't even hear anything. And then I was like, I can't do this. I was like, this is a horrible idea. I was like, no. And I went to bed and read my.
Were you watching? Were you watching on the computer, or were you
watching the TV in the living
on the
room?
TV? Nice.
Yeah,
on the couch, laying down,
like
just
I thought like a chill, late night vibe. I thought I could make it, and it wasn't so much I was so tired. It was just that I just knew I would be useless. I'd be watching it. I'd be like doing something else. So I gave up on that and I watched it today.
Clockers.
Like I said, I paid attention, but it was just difficult. What did you guys think?
I'm not a big fan of crime. I'm not a big fan of I tend to admire movies like this because they're self-contained, and what I like about it is that it's telling an unraveling story. Telling an unraveling story about a man who was wronged. No, but was he wronged? That's the question, you see. There's a lot of complexities that come into this story, you see. And Harvey Keitel was in it. Keith David was in it. That's amazing. Love Keith David. He's amazing.
Oh, by the way, can I interrupt you just for a second? I wanted to say it was very strange. Me and my wife, we watched Sister Act like maybe like a month ago. And listen to this. I never watched Sister Act in my whole life.
We talked about this on the podcast, didn't we?
We did, but I don't think we talked about me watching it.
No, because this was before. I was like, I was surprised you guys never saw Sister Act.
Yeah, and Paula was like,
I still haven't.
Like, you should watch it. We can watch it together. I'm like, okay, cool, let's watch it. And listen to this. We're watching the film, and I realized the sort of mafia boss was the actor from Reservoir Dogs, right? Who is the
Harvey Keitel, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Harvey Keitel.
Oh wait, Harvey Keitel is in Sister Act? What the hell?
And I couldn't believe it. And I was thinking like, oh my goodness. I was like, I can't believe this actor, like from, a movie like Reservoir Dogs, where it's arguably kind of brutal, right? Like there's brutality sort of in
the brutality of it.
The brutality. It's a raw film. and like a lot of swearing and stuff like that. I'm thinking like, wow, he's in this basically family film playing like a clean version of that
Yeah.
kind of character, and I was like,
the same
what?
character.
Yeah, I was like, So anyway, go on.
Well, we had in Kids of the Round Table, we had Michael Ironside playing a kid version of himself.
Michael Ironside, yeah, it's great.
So I guess
I love
sometimes you
it.
need the money.
Typecast he was.
That should be a
I think he
theme.
was just like, I think I'll do that.
We should make that a theme, like where we watch movies, like kids movies that have like actors who are generally known to be in like R-rated films as certain rough characters, Anyway, Clockers, I didn't
John
particularly
Turturro?
find. Yeah, John Turturro's in it too. It's wonderful. So him and Harvey Keitel have a pretty good dynamic going on, and I mean, it's just kind of like, here's the problem with me in movies like this. It's just like, first of all, I'm gonna say Heat is a little bit on a different wavelength. This is more personal drama, and Heat is more kind of like Heat feels a little more epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
because
think
it's
Heat's
about
more
organized
epic,
crime.
like, story
This isn't
telling.
necessarily.
I mean, it's set in the same, I guess, period, and it is crime, but I would say like it has nothing to do with each other as far as like the movie.
Yeah, I think they're totally different.
Yeah.
things.
I would see. I see like to me personally, like for some reason growing up watching like movies on the TV that were basically 90s stuff, so I have a personal connection to crime movies and to urban environments of the 90s for some reason, because that was the only thing on TV. So I have like a connection to it. So I understand your connection to Heat, but yeah, continue.
I just mentioned because it's like movies about crime and stuff, and I'm very blasé about it. I don't find it at all interesting to me, because it's like, someone's in trouble again. The cops are there. Okay.
Yeah,
But no, this movie, I found this movie all right. I found it all right.
Did you feel it was easy to focus on the?
Honestly, yeah, I did.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was fine. I love the '90s music. Oh, the R&B, right? That's what
got a
you
lot of
call it. I
Seal
don't
in
know.
there. I think there was like 4 Seal songs in the soundtrack.
Yeah, and not one walrus.
Wow.
I know.
Those are my dad
It
jokes.
was a
What
pretty
the-
bad dad joke.
But I do agree with
think it was a good one.
with Jacob. Like when it started, I was like a little bit confused because you got like pictures of like dead people shot, like
Right.
very gruesome, and there's like the smooth jazz song happening, and then these like really strange like 90s like very smoothly animation without motion blur credits like just sweeping across the screen. And it was like a real weird juxtaposition that was happening. And I was like, what am I getting into? But I think it does also like plunge you into the movie. Like you said, the conversations, they're using a lot of slang and they're very quiet. And sometimes you can't really understand what they're saying as far as like any of the characters. And then you're also like plunged into the vignettes without really like, holding your hand. You need to figure out what is happening. So I think the first 15, 20 minutes, I was like, a little bit confused, like so as Jake, but I think afterwards, when I got into the characters, into the mood and everything, I was like following and like paying attention and watching the movie.
So. Yeah, this seems to be a Spike Lee kind of like his camera work is very movement based. It's very movie.
Oh, it's very
There's a lot of
stylized.
moving.
Like there's
Yeah.
some like crazy
One of the
stuff.
best shots. I was like, wow, that was a good shot. I love
Let me
that
tell you
shot
which one
so
it was.
much.
It was the shot where our main character is like sort of gliding through the park.
Oh no.
No.
That's sort of like a no. It was the one where it was a close up of his eye, and then you could see Harvey Keitel's
that one.
reflection. And I was like,
knew-
oh,
I knew you were gonna say this. By the way, I knew it because when you were writing testing like some cool shots in this movie, when I saw that shot, I was like, "That's a Phil shot, 100%." The eye.
There's some cool Spike Lee stuff at the end when he's like when he's I guess like introspective and he's thinking about the situation, and we got these like I guess like dream-like kind of like breaking the fourth wall,
yeah.
like Harvey like you see the recreation of the scene that happened. This kid shoots this other gangster. The story is like he got
remember the video game footage?
the video game footage
That
was
was
weird.
weird.
That was weird. That was funny.
That was so dumb.
With the little
But okay,
Sega.
yeah.
But there's
VR.
but there and it was interesting. I think a couple of those
Here,
shots
I gave you pictures. See, here's some screenshots of it. Look at it.
a couple of the shots
Describe
really
the
worked. But the second one, when he's next to his bike, I think he's on some kind of like a dolly or something like that. But unfortunately, Harvey Dent is kind of shaking from side to side because like it's not
Harvey
really,
Dent,
Harvey Dent.
Gotham's finest DR.
Yeah. He's kind of
I like how he
shaking.
jumped into this movie.
DA.
So it's a little bit. It's not like there's a few shots that were kind of like like it's like maybe at the budget or just like just technically they're a little bit funky. But I think it was a cool idea. I think he does that a lot. With
I liked the ending. I liked the train motif. That was fun. It was great.
Yeah, I mean
The what?
the train.
The train motif. The train imagery.
You mean him riding in a train?
Yes.
Oh no, because like it was done before. Remember, he was like showing his little brother.
Yes.
Train
Yes,
set.
he was into trains,
Right.
and then he told. I don't think Jake paid attention.
I remember the model trains. I
Yes.
remember that.
And he was telling them like the cop, his neighborhood cop, he was telling him like have you ever been to an actual train? You're all about the
I remember
trains.
that.
Why
He's
don't you
like,
leave?
what are you doing living here? He's like, have you traveled?
Yes, exactly.
I remember.
So that was the motif, in the end, and he's kind of like, excited. For some, maybe it was because I'm back to playing Red Dead Redemption, but it kind of gave me like,
Here we go.
like just like the, I guess a theme or a metaphor for America, just the trains. Like, that used to be a really big
The
thing.
sad,
Amtrak.
Um,
Like that.
It's terrible.
Even just like, like the connection between the East and the West and the, like the whole Western frontier and just the traveling to the edges. Train used to be a really big thing. And then just kind of like, ever since the automobile and the businessmen, the
planes.
Fords and all these things, just gone trains. No trains in America.
Do you know what one of the biggest brands of buses in America is called?
Oh, the dog. Some kind of dog.
Greyhound. Yeah.
What is it?
Greyhound.
I don't.
Oh, Greyhound.
Greyhound?
I was going to say
Yeah.
Shaggy
Really?
Dog.
Shaggy dog.
The Shaggy Dog. Okay,
Yeah.
so interesting. Yeah, see, I think that you guys pulled different things. I'm telling you guys, I wish I had better things to say. I think it was just it was difficult for me, this is like a reoccurring theme. If I'm not in the right mood, then I just give terrible,
Can't get into it.
useless reactions.
I think like in the past,
Clockers.
when we watched a couple of these movies, like the Netflix action movies, I think I had the similar, like just really dreading, like I want it to end.
Yeah.
But I think this one has a lot, enough of personal and enough of creativity and good acting,
Oh, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
also
yeah.
like being not knowing anything about it factor that usually helps me with movies. So I don't have a preconceived notion of like what to
Yeah.
expect. So I just in for the ride. So I think that's why it held my attention. It just made it interesting.
Makes sense.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to think what else there was.
The wonderful '90s R&B music and.
Oh, I have a question, storyline wise, which my guys might help me out with. So, that character who was kind of his mentor, older man, right? Who,
Yeah. The kindly man.
Yeah, at the beginning you kind of think that he's. At the beginning you kind of think like, oh, he's a wise, fatherly figure.
Did you really think
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, at the beginning I was
Really?
because I was listening to him and I was like, okay, maybe some of the stuff he's saying is kind of strange, but I was like, yeah, I guess for maybe to him it makes sense, like he's listening to this man.
I thought he was slimy from beginning. The whole like, I
Interesting.
always treated you as a son. I had a dream that you were the chosen one.
No, I
It's
thought
like,
he was real. I thought it was for real. I was
that's
like,
a
okay,
classic
this guy-
Rodney.
manipulation. Oh man.
Maybe I picked up on it badly.
Papa
Oh, yeah.
Rodney.
Yeah, don't listen to don't listen to characters telling you that you're like their son.
thought he was
While
for
they're
real. I
telling
was
you
like-
to go murder someone. That's
But see, that's why I didn't
usually
pick
a
up on
bad sign.
because I didn't pick
Papa
up on it because I
Rodney.
was confused because at the beginning he was telling something bad about this man in the shop, right? But I didn't pick up on like that he should go kill him.
Oh.
And then later on when our character does, or at least doesn't, I can't remember. You guys can maybe help me.
Yeah,
with
no,
that
he
one
doesn't.
too. Okay,
His brother
That was
does.
right. But there was imagery, to depict that he did or allude to the fact, right? Because he has a newspaper, and you think he has the gun underneath the newspaper, but he doesn't in the end. Yeah, I wanted to say that what was that whole man's spiel at the end? Was he some kind of like, I don't know what he was.
Who? Rodney?
Yeah. Because then later it's like really revealed that he's not a good man.
No, I mean, like
whole thing.
That's like the whole like point of like portraying these characters, and he is like that sort of duality of he's just like a mob boss, really. Like he's running these kids to sell drugs, but he also has a business that uses as a front.
That's right. Yeah, like as a front. I picked up on that because he was saying. I remember one scene about like he doesn't want to have any attention at the shop.
Yes. I mean, like I don't think I thought about it like more deeper, but I think even from that, like just that classic manipulative, just get people to do things for you because he was a businessman. He was doing business.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
So just to recap, just to people who didn't watch it.
Tell me something. The one thing I'm confused with is like we need to just talk about the chocolate mousse.
The chocolate mousse? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
What he had like it's a little bit of movie like.
I thought it was just like chocolate
guts.
milk.
Oh yeah, the drink, right?
Yes.
Because I remember, was that a real brand, Moo? I think
so.
He was drinking chocolate. Was that
like
chocolate milk he was drinking?
Yeah.
Was he drinking it for the stomach, or was that making him sick? I don't know. There's a lot. There's not explained. It's that classic, Hollywood. Someone's sick, so they cough up blood.
Right.
Trope. And dude was coughing up blood, and he was like, "You got to go to the doctor." And never went to the doctor and just drank chocolate milk.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's more to it. I didn't pick up any from the movie.
Okay. Anyway, what did you want to say, Jacob?
Nothing.
Did you want to put a
Tim was
synopsis?
Oh,
synopsisize.
I was going to say synopsis,
me
but
of all three of us for the synopsis.
just so people are not confused, all the stuff we talked about. So our main character, he's a clocker, which we find out is someone selling drugs.
It's like a Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And they have a spot with his friends, and that's what they do. He's a young man.
Yeah, they hang out at that park all the time.
And his boss tells him,
park.
and his boss tells him to go kill another dude who's working at this fast food restaurant. It's then he's also selling drugs there, and it's a good spot. Kill him. You can take lay low for a couple of weeks, and then you can take that spot and sell drugs there because a lot of yuppies from upstate come down to buy some drugs and party. We are led to believe that he kills this man, but it turns out it was his brother who did it for him because he was really stressed over his job and everything, and he told his younger brother that he's got a guy who's going to do it, but in the end it was just him.
Right there. What? Again, I want to remember. Why did he have to go kill the man in the shop?
Because he wanted to take this spot. To be the drug dealer there. He's like, my son, I'm going to promote you. You're going to like work at this nice store and sell drugs there. None of this on the street, putting drugs in the trash can business. You're going to get promoted.
Because they found a wad of cash in the murdered man's pocket. I remember that.
Yes, he was a drug dealer too.
He was a drug dealer. Yeah,
he was working for the rival mob boss. And then the two cops, the homicide cops. We got Harvey Dent and John Totoro, and
John
and Harvey
Totoro.
Dent is suspicious of this ploy. He's like, because they pin it first on because their brother that kills him first confesses, but they're like, he's straight, he's working. It wasn't him. It was his brother who's the gangster. But in the end, there's all things happen, interesting plots and twists and turns and. Throughout the movie, families,
train
sets. It's interesting, slice of life.
VR things.
Yep, slice of life there, and it turns out it was his brother. He, instead of calling his friend, he made it up. He just killed the guy because he was really angry and frustrated and didn't know what to do. And he, I don't know if he goes to jail or not, probably. But his younger brother, he goes on a train and goes west. Thinks about his life. I really summarized that terribly.
Go west, young man.
Spike Lee plays
Clockers. Style synopsis, but it was, I think we got the point.
We got the point, yeah.
Story.
One thing that...
Guys, did you know that... Do you remember Scientific in the movie?
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah, my man Scientific. He was played by Sticky Fingers.
Oh, I know Sticky Fingers.
Yeah.
Blade 2?
Oh, yeah. You're right. He played Blade. But he wasn't he also the voice of what's his name from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Oh, okay.
Dude, I don't remember
Wasn't
the
he?
voice. I don't know.
No idea.
That's a long time since I played San Andreas.
Oh, okay. Well, I think he was the
GTA.
voice of CJ, wasn't he?
Was he
Wasn't
CJ? CJ.
So
All you had
what
to
I'm
do was
actually
follow the
interested
damn
about
train,
with
CJ.
Clocker is
the train. There you go.
What?
is what was like the reception of the movie, sort of what was the the reach with the film, like was it like some classic domestic release, was it international, because I didn't look up anything on it. Did you guys find anything?
I checked out Wikipedia, and basically what I said at the beginning is that I think due to what you had problems with, just like kind of plunges you into the story and you have to figure it out. I think people had trouble following it. And also I think at that point, Spike Lee kind of did a few of these movies, especially the Do the Right Thing, which was a cult classic about this kind of neighborhood and that kind of theme. So I think it didn't do so well critically and financially. So I think it was less of a, kind of milestone.
Because I think that
more
I
of a,
kind of noticed that it got like okay reviews. Like it wasn't like, panned or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like, like it's a terrible movie or anything, but it wasn't some kind of breakthrough.
Right.
Well, the only thing that like thematically that I remember thinking about this movie is just like feeling like just watching this situation. Maybe that's like the point, especially if like white people like us watching this. It's just like, man, I felt so privileged. Like you, like living in a world that's such a dog eat dog world. Like just to think about your existence on such a,
primal level,
and also your integrity gets tested every day. Like there's so many situations in this movie where people are offered money to do things that it's like you are not in a good financial situation, and when he was his older brother was working at that stores, and those guys came in, basically offering him, hey, it's $500 a week, and all you need to do is let us sell drugs, this corner.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if your primary objective in your life is like feeding your family, which is you were doing, he had 2 jobs, it's like every day it gets tested. And it's even that, it's just like the brutal violence of like between the police and every day, and it's just like, I'm thinking, it's like, they're all talking about this. Well, this kid shot a person, and they're like, it's self-defense. He found the gun. It's okay. And it's like, what kind of, like, that's so crazy to live in such a, like, I've never seen a gun as a child. I lived in the war we just talked about at the beginning. Yet I lived in a village, and it's so crazy, that was a city that wasn't in war. It's just a normal United States, didn't have a war since, the Civil War, their Civil War. And yet this was daily reality. It's like, that's crazy to me. And it really made
very
me
different vantage points. For sure.
It really made me appreciate the privilege that I have. So that was my thought.
That's what Spike Lee wants you to think.
Yeah. That's why he wrote the movie.
Did anything, from the movie jump at you or anything interesting?
I'm
gonna take that as a no.
I think we got all the points there.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, tell us if you watch Clockers. It's not a sports team. It's not a t-shirt band t-shirt. It's a movie.
Nope.
So what's
I sent the t-shirt, by the way.
Oh, good. So there it is. Perfect. So here's
it is.
But no, Clockers. This is not right. It says a Spike Lee film. Mine didn't say that. It just said Clockers.
Whoops. Okay, what do you want to say? So what is what?
So what is your experience with organized crime and police in your personal life? No, I'm serious. I'm serious because I was thinking about this. Did I ever have to? Because the whole privilege thing is like, did I have to? And I have never directly had to deal with that. I'm pretty sure the video game store I worked in, I'm pretty sure that was a front for some kind of money laundering. Honestly,
you really think so,
dude? We were not in the green maybe 1 week before Christmas. Like our rent, like we had the spreadsheet, and I would track what we sell. not a single day of the year we would make rent, and we wouldn't make 10% of the rent for that place. Yet
amazing.
that store was there for 5 or 7 years before, and it's still there. It makes no business at all. So obviously it's a front.
I see.
Who wouldn't close that damn thing after, years of not even making rent? So I'm pretty sure that whole company's a fraud, and this is a front.
Video game store.
They're the worst.
Gotta get that video game store.
Dude, they're the worst.
Take them out.
We sold games. So it was 2011, and we sold games for their full retail price that were released in 1998 in those huge video game boxes. I mean, no one cared.
Weird.
No one cared there what was happening.
By the way, here's a question, Tim.
What?
Oh, this is great. So when you were, being the salesman of the store,
I was the store manager.
store manager.
Store manager. Get it right, Jake.
Did you, the privileged store manager, I want to say, did you ever sell like old video games like PlayStation 1 and stuff like that? Did anyone ever buy that stuff? Or like,
No.
what was, if you recall, what were the sort of major selling items, in the shop?
PlayStation games, we sucked as a company. And the funny thing is, like, I would be like following like blogs, and I'd be like, hey, there's a big buzz going around this new game, it's going to come out, can you send more copies of it, right? And they'd be like, we don't know if we can get
you were
this
like a straight man, like like a proper like
Yeah. I
I'm
was the
getting
store
into this
manager.
job, and they're like, what?
So I would say, can you send at least 10 copies, and there's already kids coming and asking, are we going to have it? I'm like, I don't know, can you just send me 10 copies of whatever Call of Duty or whatever was coming out, and have it on the release day, they're going to sell. Because those were like a good, because those are full price. Never. Always late with replies. Then they're like, I don't know if we can get them. We're sending it somewhere. So I don't know what. And then usually like a month later, they would send them. And then I had no one to sell it to because everyone had it.
When people came into the shop, my question is like, what were they saying? Like, I'm looking for this game. I'm looking for a game for my son. Like, what was the stories?
I think
If you remember.
PSP kids would come. I think the best like sales we had was like, because it was like a shitty mall no one ever came to. There was a cinema there, and it was the only multiplex kind of
chain,
cinema.
I believe.
Yeah, one of those things in town. So that would be like, I would work a 12-hour shift, no one there all day. And
Really?
around like 5 or 6, when the kids movie was showing, families used to usually come to see a movie, like a animated movie, and that's the only time I had actual business. Except that one time when a pimp with his prostitutes came, and they bought like
What?
1,000 euros worth of games.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was a magical day. I don't think I had told that story, but usually
That's an interesting one.
so that would be I'll tell that story right after. But usually that would be before a movie. Like moms and kids would come, and they would go like, hey, can I have this like PSP game? Some Wii games. Wii was big then. I think that was a lot of sales. And then like PC games, nothing, man. I think most people pirated that and at that time. And then like PlayStation games, Xbox, nothing. I don't think we even stored Xbox games.
The PlayStation generation.
We did a bit, but like here in Europe, like PlayStation is like big.
Is the king.
And nobody touched those old games, obviously. I think there was one time somebody came, was like,
What did you do with them? They were just there on the shelves? You
yeah,
just leave
and I
them?
kept asking, can we like reduce these for like one? Because the problem was like every month we had to do a physical inventory. Dude, never in my life. And here's the thing, like that store before I came there was run by like absolute madmen before. They had the lights turned off in the store. The games were all on the floor. They didn't count. They put whatever the hell they wanted into the cash register. It was just chaos. They got fired. A dude came. He cleaned it up, but he was like, I can't work at the store. I got hired, like there's a store manager. I got hired after him. He showed me some of the stuff he did. Like he organized it a bit. But I worked there for a year, right? And every month we did the inventory. Every month I would count, right? It was usually a whole 2 days of physically counting all the inventory you have. Every single month, I would be 500 or 600 euros short of inventory. Where did it go? I don't know. Did other people in the ship steal?
What? That's a lot, actually, for such a small shop.
Well, we found one guy who was working there as a part-time. He was stealing stuff because we had video footage of him trying to barge in the middle of the night.
That to me is honestly, like, I've never understood that sort of, like, thinking of like, I'll just steal stuff and work here. It's like, dude, is it really worth like the €5 for that stupid game,
dude? And it's like, and here's the thing, like by the end, I also did a little bit of stealing, but not like that. Like I didn't steal any of the games. Essentially, it was. The thing is that we were like, we kept saying like, listen, and they would never discount the price, obviously. Like things would just stay their price. And I kept going like, listen, we have so much inventory. I don't want to count it. No one's buying it. Can we just reduce it? Just normal business sense.
I mean, reduce the price, you mean?
Reduce the price and just someone will buy it because it's, €1 or something like that. Just get rid of the inventory and we can have new inventory, order new games in.
Games.
What is the point of all this? No, never.
Did anyone buy consoles? Did you stock consoles?
We did, and I think that was like the big purchase. Like if you sold a console, that was great. That would happen once a month, maybe.
This job sounds so weird.
Wow,
and
this is a great job,
about,
dude. You don't even know
all day.
You don't even half of it. There was the regional manager guy, which I haven't thought about in years, and I just thought about it watching this movie, and all the old stories came in. That guy was slimy as hell. And then the whole business thing, and then I realized like the consoles for the first couple of months I didn't sell a single console, and then because they were like up on the high shelf, and no one ever bought a console until I sold one day 2 of them and realized both of them were open because the customer came back saying like, you sold me this console, but this console was played. And he sees like dust and everything. I think the previous guys just opened the boxes and played the consoles and just put them back in there.
This does sound like a front.
We found 2 of the console boxes were actually empty. And this is
what?
Dude, this was madness. There was this, and there was one chick. She was crazy that was working there. Like I think she was insane. She left. There was the guy who was stealing. He was like a part-time. He would come to help. He didn't do anything. Never, ever. It was just me and my friend. He was hired there after. We were just like, I didn't talk to the guy but we were just like dumbfounded by this company and also this regional manager guy who came. This guy never did anything. And he was like he was just the manager of, because there were 2 stores from that brand or whatever you want to call chain in
was
that
it really
town.
A chain? That game store?
Yeah, it was a chain.
Wow.
They had like 30 stores around the country.
I thought it was just one.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No. And he was like the region manager of that town. He would switch between the 2 stores. When he wasn't there, it was boring as hell, like working there. I was like friends with all the people around the stores.
A computer? I think you had a computer, right?
It had a computer, but it was like really crap. It didn't work anything. I think afterwards I brought my computer. I read there.
I listened to podcasts to work, because you said like you read it in podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, I would just bring podcasts. I would put it on my little iPod shuffle, and then later on, he hated bringing computers in, but I think last couple of like months I just didn't care. I just brought my MacBook. I just watched all of Breaking Bad because no one came there, and it was like 12 hours of shift. It was like so boring. At least like
this sounds so boring.
At least
terrible.
It was good when my Italian friend, because there was a cafe right next to it that was owned by this
Italian friend.
Yeah, but it was by this Italian guy who didn't speak Slovak. He spoke only English. And he would, like, him and his wife and the kid would like spend like a month in Italy and then a month in Slovakia. And the dude was bored. He hated Slovakians. He was so bored being here in Slovakia for the month. So he would just spend the time in this cafe because like he had nothing to do. And then he figured out I speak English. So basically every day he would be like, close the store.
Coming over.
He's like, close the store, coffee, cigarettes, all on me.
Hey, yo,
come to the store.
close
We're
the
talking.
store.
And I would just sit at his
Come over
cafe
here.
and
We're
just
talking now.
and give me all his advice about all these things about business. And
Did you learn
Let me give you some life
knowledge?
advice, pal.
dude, yeah. It was
Was
amazing.
it Tony Lazzuto?
Dude, so this Italian man, he would, we would
Tony
we would
Lazzuto.
all hang out at that cafe.
That sounds actually fun. This Italian man sounds interesting.
Yeah, he was.
would much rather go
This is like a
there
great
and
idea
smoke
for like a
and
story in a
drink
movie.
versus
Yeah,
working
yeah.
at the game store.
Yeah, so close the
Lazzuto.
game store. I could see like the doors. Like a lot of times, I didn't even close the game store. I could just see it from the cafe, and somebody walk in. I'll just run to the store.
That how long were you there? That's like a year, right, or something.
That
like
was a year, but
over
it feels
year.
like 1,000 years, man. Because like imagine 12-hour shifts. You're locked in the mall.
can't
No one's
imagine.
there. Like there was a skate shop right next to it, and there was this chick, and she was like upset. She kept for like 2 weeks playing La Rue album back to forth all day.
Yeah, she was like big.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to
that?
shoot
I don't
myself.
She did the song. This
Boom,
time,
baby, I'll be bulletproof. Dude, I heard that song like 1,000
I don't
times.
remember that song, but okay.
And that turned worse because that skate shop got turned into a bowling alley. Imagine if right behind you is the machinery for the balls. To go. At that point, I lost my mind. But anyway, so yeah.
But you
12
know, Tim, I have to say that it's a good thing that your manager was only like in and out, because I've heard stories. So when I was at university, a lot of a couple of my friends would take up these jobs. You know, like in malls when they have those little kiosks, like that are like
Yes.
sort of in the middle of the hallway, and people would, they can sell things from Roombas to wine.
the kiosk guys.
Yes.
This is
What
the
I'm talking about.
shiftiest part of the
Listen.
malls. Always the guys
Yeah.
selling the cases and the guys
cases, yeah.
e-cigarettes. Always just weird
E-cigarettes,
products.
just the strangest products. And my friend, she worked at one of these like kiosks that sold those vacuum robots. Yeah. What are they called?
Yeah. That's it.
Roombas,
Yeah,
right?
vacuum robots.
You have a
That's it.
Roomba.
That's good.
I have one, yeah, as well. They're amazing. And she told me that basically that, and also I think Paula also told me that she heard about this. Maybe she even worked one of these jobs. I don't think she did though. And that these managers, they like do these covert operations where they like stand from afar like perverts and
watch
spy
you.
on you to see if you're not like doing something else. Because I remember my friend, I asked her like, why don't you just like study, for your exams, like
Yeah.
when there's no one there? She's like, no, I can't. She's like, the manager is creeping around, looking at me to see if I'm not. It's like, that's to me is like, I can't believe that that's like insanity. Like, first of all, it's creepy. Second of all, it's like, what the crap? It's like, if no one's coming in, no one's doing any business at the kiosk, then let the students study or whatever. So good thing you didn't have that guy, like creeping on you from the bowling
Dude,
alley.
this guy was 1,000 times worse. I think like as like people like people on my shit list, people on the shit tier of my life, like he's there. And I haven't thought about this guy. Like he was the slimiest man. Like
scary.
dude, like, and the thing was like imagine David Brent. But David Brent isn't sinister, right? I think he's selfish and he like all the bad things he does, but I think his kind of heart is in the right place. He's just too concentrated on himself.
Yeah.
This
Like
is
deep
that,
down,
but
he's like, he doesn't want
sinister.
to hurt anybody. He
Yeah.
doesn't wanna, like-
He just wants to be loved. This person wants to be loved, but he's sinister. But like, it's just like he was like the manager of these two stores, and I think at some point they promoted him to regional manager. Dude, that's like he would come in his t-shirt and he was like and just talk about stuff, and I think he hated like living with his family, so he would pretend he's working and he would come in, talk about some important things, then take his stupid ass computer, go to the Italian's coffee shop, and he would play like back then Facebook games were big then, like
man.
Farmland. He would play
Farmland.
he would play Farmland for 12
Farmville,
hours.
Farmville.
Jet Rocket, or what that game was called, Rocket Power.
Dude would play Farmville for 12 hours there, and he would order one coffee and just sit there in the coffee shop. My Italian friend hated him. He was like, I can't stand your boss here. He just orders one coffee. And
your Italian friend probably ordered like 4 or 5 espressos in an hour, versus your man
being
who's
Italian.
a little coffee for 5 hours.
He taught me the way of espresso. He's like, this is not how you drink espresso. In Italy, you stand at the counter, you take your espresso, drink it, and you leave. These people, they're drinking coffee for hours. What is this?
So what did he do?
What, my boss?
No. Your Italian friend. Did he also sip the coffee?
Oh,
and sit
he
down, or
would
did
make me the
you
problem,
leave?
and he would always make me the coffee. I feel like I am now
What?
describing like a mafia situation.
He made you the coffee at the coffee shop.
Yes, he would invite me, and he's like, no, none of
Wait,
these, none of the
sorry, Tim, I missed
waitresses.
the detail. Is this
I will
his
have none of
coffee
this.
place?
It's a cuff, like you have like, yeah, it's like inside
Yeah,
a
but
mall.
did he own it? Did he run it?
He owned it. That's what I'm saying. He owned it.
Oh, sorry, I missed that because the confusing thing was I for some reason filled in the gaps. I thought that this Italian man, his wife was making him come to the mall. He was
No,
stuck at the mall.
no.
Taking
He
you
owns
to
it.
the coffee place. Okay, makes more sense.
No.
He's the owner. He's the owner of the coffee
That
place,
makes
and
sense
he
now,
would
of
be
course.
bored out of his mind here. So he would usually spend the time going to his place
Where
he
his
owned,
espresso's good.
and then he would bring me in. It's like we talk, I make you coffee. We sit here and we talk
Did you
about
make
life.
you cappuccinos?
No, he
Just
made me espresso. He was like, "This is how you make espresso."
Did you ever get double shots or triple shots?
Yeah, go for the double. I usually go for the double.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to my wife, like, when did I actually start? Because I usually before that, like when I lived in Belfast, I would get like a Starbucks, like a, latte grande, like the 3 liter, milk bucket. And I was like, when did I start drinking espresso? And I think that's actually it. That guy.
Interesting.
The
He taught
Italian.
you the ways.
Yeah. So, and not even get to I wanted to talk about the other place I worked in my old town, the Pizzeria Forrest place. That was,
Oh my goodness.
there was so much.
Forrest. Oh,
There was so
yeah.
much shady
Your-
stuff going on there.
In your hometown in Serbia.
I was actually there
Me
once.
too.
Dude,
was
you
this
have no
cafe
idea.
Called Cafe Forrest or
Yes,
something like that.
Forrest.
Yeah, with 2 R's, like Forrest Gump.
And my memory of that place is we went there a couple of times. But one time I went there and
Or
we
Forest
ordered
Law.
pizza, and it was the most bizarre experience in my life because, first of all, the waiter didn't even know what like tomato sauce was, and he called it ketchup, which was like,
Oh, yeah,
I've
that
never-
was a-
in Croatia, like everyone like knows like basic pizza, right? It's like obviously
Yeah.
more like.
Yeah, but Croatia's close to Italy. You guys
But this
basically
this
half
was what
Italian.
confused me so much.
Yeah, we got some good pizza.
That's what confused me the most is like he was saying ketchup, and then I was like, I came there and I said margarita, and that's like a cheese pizza, right? Like,
Yes.
that's just cheese, sauce, and dough, right? Margarita. That's
Yeah.
like super common everywhere.
Oh, you usually you have your tomato, and then you have your mozzarella, and then you have basil. That's a margarita. That's how.
yeah, that's the
you should have
classic
it.
Italian
Yeah.
margarita. I'm saying like let's say in this case the Croatian version is just like a sort of
slap some
standard
cheese.
cheese and
Just-
tomato sauce and
Just regular cheese.
it's like this kind of version of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's everywhere on the menu. It's like they're not going to write like cheese pizza. They're like margarita.
yeah.
And I asked the guy, I was like, margarita. He's like, what's that? I'm like, what?
I remember that. I was still there. I was there.
Phil was
Yes,
there
I
too.
see.
And I was like,
And it's a
what? How does
pizzeria.
he
It's,
not
it's,
know?
it's not like just like a,
Yeah,
they have other
pizzeria.
Like, it says pizzeria there.
And I was like, how is this possible? I was really like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like 13 or something. And I was
Your
like-
world
and he was like,
shattered.
I don't know what that is. I'm like, that has cheese and sauce. He's like, oh, cheese and ketchup. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, oh, well, we have this thing with like cheese, ketchup, and ham. I guess we'll just remove the ham for you. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he brings in the pizzas. I'll never
That's what
forget this in
happened.
my life. He brings in the pizzas, and I'm expecting, sort of like, when you bake pizza in a proper, even like a non like wood oven. What do you call those? Yeah, like just a regular sort of industrial grade oven. The pizza comes out with like looking kind of crispy and has those nice little black spots, and it looks really appetizing. And the cheese is nice and like baked, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it comes out and he brings it and I'm like, what the crap is this? It looked literally like the cheese was sauce. Like the cheese was so melted and it was this pale
I remember
like,
this.
goop on top of this bright red, basically ketchup. And this dough was like pale and it's like, they came out and I'm like, what is this place? And
Look,
that was my story.
I mean,
Pizza Forest.
as far as a international
Pizza Forest.
cuisine, the village I grew up, I would not judge it by it. I mean, they are basically barbarians when it comes to this. I think I went to visit my friend. He was like, we're going to eat spaghetti. And, my mom could make a pretty decent bolognese spaghetti. This is what I was looking forward to. My friend brings out overboiled spaghetti and then puts ketchup on it. And this is what we're supposed
Beautiful.
to
What
eat.
is, what's overboiled spaghetti?
I think
like
it means
it's
like not
sticky.
al dente.
Yeah, it's not al dente. It's sticky. And, like, and then he puts ketchup, just normal ketchup. It wasn't like, Heinz ketchup, just like ketchup on it. And that's what we're going to eat. And I'm like, what? What the hell is this? But anyway.
No thanks.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what.
This place was shady. I didn't know that.
Dude, this place was super shady. Like there was all sorts of stealing. One of my friends, basically there's this yearly like festival thing, like folklore festival. It's called Slavnosje. That's usually when we have the most customers. You bring in extra force, and then you stock up on the beverages. And it kind of like, it wasn't safe we had like a certain space in the back of the what is this, restaurant, cafe, bar, whatever, where we would store our, like cases of beers and stuff like that. But it was limited size, so we ordered I guess the manager ordered a lot more for this festival. So we're like, where are we going to put it? In one of the it wasn't a friend, he was a classmate. He was working there. He's like, oh, I have like lots of space in my backyard. We can put it there. He lives close by, like a street away, and if we need, we can move a couple of cases when stuff runs out. Great. So they ordered the cases of beers. I think there was like maybe, I don't know, like 100. He's like, and then each of those have 20 beers in them. They put it in the guy's backyard. The festival happens midway. We're out of beer. And we're like, okay, let's get more. And the guy's like, what beer?
I don't know.
What?
He's like, no, I don't have any beer in my backyard. We're like, whoa.
Wow.
Go to the manager. He tells the same thing. I was like, no, there's nothing there. You go check.
What'd you do then?
I didn't do anything. It wasn't my thing. I don't know what the manager did. I think they fired him. That was it. I don't know if there was any police. Dude, everyone stole. My friend, he kept stealing. From
before you start, I have to give credit to the waiter at the Forrest place. I'll never forget this. Pretty good though. Is that despite his poor knowledge of pizza, he did say, I think Phil or me asked him for Sprite, and he goes, yeah, they don't make that anymore. And I was like, what? What? And then he goes, I'm just kidding. He's like, that was a joke. I was like, oh, that was a good joke though, because I really believed him. I was a 13-year-old, and I was like, like, how did the knowledge come here that they don't make Sprite anymore? He said it's so deadpan. He was like, yeah, they don't make that anymore. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, so man. I have to, credit where credit is due. That was a good joke, Mr. Bartender Man.
Yeah, that was a weird place. Like there was like the lady cooks in the back, and they were like, one of them lady cooks was cheating on her husband, one of the waiters. That was all sorts of drama. There was crying. There was plates being thrown.
Like, pizzerias around these parts, they always have like, either they're really proper and good, or they're just shady. Like I remember one time we went to last year, I went with Paula and her parents to the coast, and we were in this nice coastal town, and we're driving around, and we're like, let's go to this specific restaurant. And Paula's dad was like, no, we're gonna go to the closest restaurant in the proximity of the road we're on. And we're driving. Wonderful. It's like, yeah, a great idea. Yeah. And there's a sign that says Pizzeria, like the just generic. And he's like, we're gonna get pizza. And we're all
from
like,
1975, no. the sign.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And we're all like, no, let's not do this. He's like, yes, we're gonna do that now. And he's driving in his car. We're like, no, you can't argue. Yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go here. And it's like, it was the worst detour because we wanted to get on the road back home and all this stuff. And we were in this pizzeria. And I don't know if you had this experience. To me, you have traveled on the coast a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But this is like sort of that weird, like hole in the wall, like place, this establishment. It's like a pizzeria, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But once you sit down, you can just tell, like you just have this weird feeling that's dodgy. It's like you don't feel, it doesn't feel right, A proper pizzeria place, you just feel like this is a proper place. They know what they're doing.
You can smell it. You can smell it in the air.
Well, just real quick, me and my dad went to this taco place, this Mexican dine-in restaurant right close to our house in Anderson, Indiana. And that really felt like a front, too.
I remember that one.
You're not in town anymore.
That was a
You're messing with the wrong neighborhood, man.
Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, he just asked. Guy walks in. He has this white look. Just think about your stereotypical Mexican criminal in movies.
Okay, yeah, like a cholo, right? Like a.
He's a bald guy with a mustache. Comes in. He has a white shirt. He has a necklace.
Yes.
He's like, "What do you want, guys?" And then it's like,
But then again,
I
you can
remember
get
you told me
lucky,
that
you know?
story.
Like you can get good food at those places, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like it could be
But
a
it
front.
wasn't.
But that's the thing, it wasn't from what Phil told me.
but it
It's like,
wasn't.
that's my
It
favorite
sucked.
part. And the best part of that story, though, what Phil's saying is that
And
restaurant...
then my dad didn't say anything, and he asked my dad, "So what do you want? Do you want some water or something?" And
Oh.
then it's like, yes. And that's it. That's all he said. That's
But
all
this
we
was-
did.
I
We
want
got
to-
food. No one was there.
The
Only
weirdest
us.
part, though, listen to this, Tim. So that building, that weird, whatever it was called, I can't remember what the name of it was a former, I believe, KFC building.
Oh, and
And they just, bought
Yeah,
it
yeah,
'cause
yeah,
they ran out
that's
of
our-
business.
the Mexican
and they just
place,
bought
yeah.
it, and they did nothing to it. Like literally just put like a sign.
That's
like,
right.
Where
That's
the
right.
KFC logo is supposed to go. Because the
Just
KFC
change
building
it.
is kind of like the template they kind of reuse.
yeah.
At least back then, like mid 2000s, 90s. And they just put like a sign like tacos or whatever, like, this restaurant. And I never went in there.
Yeah,
'Cause
it
we
wasn't
also
great.
lived close to a
unfortunately.
building that was a former McDonald's, and it was a Chinese takeaway place.
Yeah.
That was
Got to
also
use those
interesting, yeah.
buildings. I love it.
It's just generic, and it just says like Chinese takeaway.
It
Anyway,
was Great Taste China Buffet.
that's the one, Great Taste China Buffet. Yeah, and no one was at the buffet, but you could get the takeout, and people did that. But listen to this. I wanted to finish my story.
Yeah.
So we went to
your
this
pizza place.
weird. Yeah, and you just sit down, and the telltale sign as well is that you see like people not from Croatia, right? Like tourists. They've also landed on this place, and they're all happy, and they don't even care what they're eating. They're just drinking beer and stuff like that. There was a bunch of those, like a pack of them, from like Germany or something. I don't remember. And we're sitting there, and I remember for me the telltale sign was, so like Paula's dad was like really, he likes to talk to people, and he's talking to this waiter, and he's like, asking her questions. What is this place?
Yeah.
Like, where are you from? All this stuff. And she's like really nervous talking to him. Like she doesn't want to reveal a lot. That was the weird part to me. And she's like, our pizza's the best. She's like, we love this and try this. It's like, I like to eat this one. And like, it's really weird. And then he's like, so what, do you work here? She's like, no. She's like, I actually kind of own this place with my husband or something. And it's like, oh, okay. So, and he's trying to ask her about the business and stuff. She's not answering a lot of questions. It's very strange. And then for me, the telltale sign was, he's like, can I pay with card? No, only cash. And she was so nervous saying that. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty dodgy. Who knows what they're doing with that cash? Are they reporting any of that money? I don't know.
But the important part was the pizza good?
No.
Oh.
No, it was not. No,
Yeah.
it was very bad. Like it was like
Well, there you go.
generic.
Just like the
and
Mexican place.
It was like, like when you eat pizza and it's just like a rock in your stomach and you just want to drink water,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
old
Giant
salty boy.
portions for some reason.
Just like when we went to, all three of us, we went to Pizza Forest. Going back to that.
Pizza
Yeah.
Forest.
When we were filming our epic third installation.
Yeah.
No, fourth Castle of the Barons movie. And we ate this pizza, and it was so full of sodium, I'm assuming, that when we finished eating it, we went home and we were just dead. We were like lying on the floor, couldn't do anything. I can still remember that. It felt like I was just on drugs.
Yeah. It was a bad place to eat. It was a bad place to work. I think the manager lady, she got fired. And then they brought in this old schooler. He looked exactly the same as that regional manager of that video game store. Basically the same type. Old school dude, probably had ties with the mafia still in the 90s.
Also, do you know what's weird? That I remember when we would visit you in the summers, because we were living in the States at that time, we would visit you in the summers in Serbia, and I was wondering, like, we went to this like rock show or something, and they had this energy drink that I think had just come out in Serbia. Because like, I don't know if you guys had Red Bull. I guess you did.
Yeah, I think Red Bull was available.
But you didn't have other like brands, right? And there was this like, I think even maybe Serbian like energy drink brand or
Do
something.
you remember
that
what it was
came out.
called?
Oh man, I'd have to think about it. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was like, it tasted pretty good to me. And I remember I drank that at that show. And then I remember we would go to Forrest, right?
Yeah.
And I'd order that, like, the energy drink,
Yeah.
And then we went one time and they stopped
That's
having
funny.
it, Forrest. And I was so sad. And
Yeah, it was a
I
sad
have no
day.
idea why that happened. Like, why did you guys stop?
I don't know.
doing that?
I don't know what the Forest thing. I think it like last when I quit. I remember specifically quitting and moving to Ireland when they hired that
Northern
new
Ireland.
guy, and he basically used it as a front for his like second business, which was like getting jobs for people in Slovakia. And I remember him telling me, like, listen, when my clients come in, these people, I want you to look, and I'm going to do this movement to my nose, and that's when you bring in my coffee. Like, it's always going to be this coffee.
What?
This is how you do it, and you bring it. I don't have to say anything. It's like a power move, and that's how they know I'm in control. That I just sit down and you bring me the coffee and ask them what they want. And I was like, I'm not
confused.
doing any of this.
What?
So basically, he was.
No, I understand what you're saying. He wanted to, like, when he comes into his store, he wants to sit down
In a restaurant,
sit down
yes.
and do a move, and everyone knows, his waiters know to bring him his coffee.
Yes, exactly. Because he was like doing this because I don't think it was super legal. I think he was like working away, getting papers and stuff like that, so people from Serbia can work in Slovakia. And he was the broker of these deals. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And that's like the tip of the iceberg of all the crazy nonsense that was happening in that cafe and then the video game store. I didn't even get to like any of it. I didn't even tell my story about the pimp and the prostitutes about the video game.
We'll have to wait until next time.
I have only one story. It's not really a story. It's like sort of like a what do you call that? Secondhand story.
Mm-hmm.
But this is maybe the closest I came to some kind of at least hearing about criminal activity. So a couple of my friends. So there's a good friend of mine whom I went to a certain school with, and then together we kind of went to public school. We were in private school. We kind of went to public school, and then he kind of started hanging out with a couple of people in public school who were, into sort of, the dodgy lifestyle, as it were. Sort of like.
What? No. Give me what is
The
like
dodgy
like
lifestyle.
smoking weed?
Like, yeah. So basically, for instance, like, we lived in a town called Anderson, and that's like, there's different, obviously, social classes. We were more like middle class, and this was actually my first like sort of encounter with like kind of seeing that there's more classes, because when you're in private school, I was pretty much surrounded by kind of middle to upper middle class people. Or at least that culture. Maybe they didn't earn that much, but sort of that culture. And then when I went to public school, even though that public school wasn't at all like the other public schools that had a wide range, this was still like a public school where you could see like, oh, these people are more middle class, these people are more lower class, like just different lifestyles, like in the same building, right? Like I wasn't used to that. Like these people would go to church, but then these people would, like I said,
Worship Satan on the altar.
yeah,
just straight up.
They would do like their idea of hanging out was like going and smoking weed, like I remember going with my friend to his friend's house, and I was just like sort of like I had never experienced it before. It's like we're in this like really depressing town close to Anderson where the school was, and like it was just so depressing. Like this house I was in was like just so dirty, and like the carpet stains and just like so
Culture shock.
So
for Jake.
Yeah, culture shock. And it's like, and the activities are smoking weed and just, doing nothing. And it's like stuff like that, going to abandoned, playgrounds and just sitting there.
Ah, yes, exploring abandoned places.
And I remember they told me one time, like I was at school and I was talking to one of my like friends, right, who were into these activities. And he was saying how like he had like a horrible experience the other night. Like he was so shocked because I guess they were doing like some kind of drug deal or something. I have no idea. Maybe, I don't know if it was for weed, probably for weed. I don't think they were doing anything stronger. And he said that they were at gunpoint by one of these dealers because they had messed up or something. I can't remember. And like they were just like at gunpoint, and they like I guess made him give up his wallet or something. I can't remember. And they were telling me how like they've never experienced that kind of situation. So that was weird. I never really heard such a story before.
I'd like to say that I was never
What a
at
story.
gunpoint, and I'm very appreciative of such a thing, and I would like to keep it that way.
That's why I was, it's kind of like hearing that story was strange to me, because I was like, how, like I couldn't sort of imagine, being in a situation like that, like, whoa, I don't think necessarily that person was going to shoot them, obviously, but it's just like,
You never know,
it's
man.
just wild. Yeah.
We watch a Spike Lee. The kid just shot a man. You don't mess with guns, man.
You just shot a man.
No.
Don't be packing.
Don't be clocking. Don't be packing.
So maybe that was the closest that I've heard of.
What about you,
Such
Philip?
activities.
You didn't done any shady deals lately? The cops always shake you
no.
down. They look like you.
They do. That was funny, but no, they didn't. Their shaking days are over. I guess because of COVID, they don't want to touch me anymore.
That's it. They're done. Just shaking down. They're like, "Ooh, that guy looks like he has a lot of COVID. Let's not touch him."
Yeah. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Good times
Nice.
at Ridgemont High. Have you seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High? I've never seen.
No, what's that?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I don't know, some comedy movie from the 1981, I think.
I got some new movies that came. Oh, wait, I forgot to talk about. Wait. Before
Hoyt
we
van
end,
Hoytema.
Before we end. So Frank wanted us to watch Raya, the
Raya.
the dragon killer from Disney.
Raya the Dragon, Raja the Dragon Killer.
Phil and I
yes.
watched it. Jake would have
I
none
watched
of
it.
that. Wouldn't have none of that.
Jake he'll have none of that.
I'm
But-
not watching that. Not even watching the trailer.
Well, we're gonna 10 minutes left of this podcast. We don't. We're over time. But let's before we end, I want Jacob to look at the poster and tell me what he thinks happens in the movie, and then me and Jake,
Yes.
me and
Give me
Phil,
1 second to pull up the poster.
yeah, and me and
I
Phil
want
watched
your
it,
synopsis.
so we
Yeah.
know what happened, so we can tell how accurate it is.
Yeah, and you just tell me, you just give us the synopsis of the entire movie.
Yes, just looking at the
Okay,
poster,
one moment.
Soak it in.
soak it in, look at all the details.
I'm looking at a poster currently.
Oops.
Let me ask if this is correct. There is a unicorn dragon.
Send me the
Yes.
Send us the picture in Discord so we know which poster you're looking at, so we can
Okay.
confirm.
Send it right below that picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger with a Lacoste
La Costa.
polo.
No, that's not a good trick. We had
Okay.
a better one. We had
A better one. I think it's on Wikipedia.
Yes, because that one has more stuff in. I guess you could look at both of these
Found
pictures.
Check that out, by the way.
Raya and the
Yes.
Last Dragon.
Yes, that was a good
All
one.
right. So, what do we got here? So, I'm looking at a main character that is standing in front of a what do you call those? Basin, like a basin with water. And it reminds me a lot of the Ender Dragon from Minecraft. But anyway, remember the dragon eyes, the Ender Dragon eyes.
Those dragon
And there's
eyes.
a lot of stuff happening here. So the first thing is, what is this? Like, what country or culture this is based on? Honestly, I have no idea. Asia in general, I have no clue. Probably, I can't tell from this. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what country this is kind of based off of culturally, but clearly it has something to do with, I believe, some Asian country. So basically, what's happening in this film is it's about a story of this main character who probably meets, who's interested in adventures, but she's in some kind of a town that, doesn't really it's not really practiced, similar to Moana, what a dun, 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 what am I gonna
That's true.
see? What am I gonna see beyond the shore?
No adventure for
that kind of
me.
thing.
I must do the
and she's stuck
laundry.
maybe like in a desert or something.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, she wants to know things, and it's probably like a flashback at the beginning where she's like a kid, and then it shows her growing up, and then when she's older, she starts to like meet somebody. I see there's a man at the bottom right. Maybe that's her love interest.
Okay.
She
Wait.
kinda meets him. It's-
Man at the bottom right? What? What
Yeah,
man?
like see, she's chasing a guy with her sword, and he has two knives.
That's a lady.
What?
That's the lady. That's the same lady
I
from
have
the
a
top
low
left.
resolution.
Oh, okay. so the
No,
man.
top left I know is a lady, but at the bottom right,
That's the same. That's the same.
That's the same
character.
person.
Okay, well maybe that's her love interest. I don't know, but she meets somebody for sure.
That's not gonna do well in China.
Okay, that's true.
But
Yeah,
honestly, I would say you're on point of that one. There's definitely some subtext going
probably.
on
Okay,
there.
see, I know. Maybe there's something at least like subsurface. And
Yeah.
she meets this person, and this person's sort of like a renegade. She's been fighting, for the rebellion or whatever, something like that. And she meets
Yeah.
her, and she's like, oh, she introduces her into this world. She's like, oh, you're very soft. You're a snowflake. You should leave your town and blah, blah, blah. The call to action. And then she goes with her on this adventure, and she probably teaches her a legend, some kind of a legend of like this dragon or whatever. And the legend tells this tale about how this unicorn dragon is going to appear or something, or bring peace or something like that. Or maybe there's even a bigger history of the dragon world. And this girl turns out that she has powers to talk to these dragons, or like she's a dragon whisperer, something like that.
Okay.
Or at least a connection to this dragon. Something a la, what's that called? What's the movie called with Toothless?
How to Train a Dragon.
Dragonheart.
A la Dragonheart, yeah. There's a heart there. Maybe that's the heart of the dragon. And she ends up meeting this dragon, right, at some point. And they feel this connection. Some kind of destiny is involved here. And then after that, she goes on. And then we also learn about the bad guy. See at the top right? He comes in at some point in the movie where maybe he's from some tribe, like rival tribe. That, maybe his tribe terrorized the tribe for centuries, something like that. Or he's just a new villain that popped up that's, causing them trouble.
Yeah.
And so basically she has to go on this adventure and she has to be the one to stop. Like, who's going to stop this guy, right? She's going to stop the guy. And her friend kind of gets sidelined. She's just like a helper later on. And basically she and the dragon go on these adventures and she gets this sword probably through magic or something, or finds it somewhere. Like they maybe go on a quest to discover the sword. That's like an ancestral thing or something like that. And essentially, I don't know actually what the heart thing, the little glowy thing from the basin has to do with much, but some kind of magic that connects them. Right. And she has these really annoying characters, I guess this dog and the sheep and stuff. They're probably super annoying.
The sheep, those are monkeys.
Monkey. Sorry.
It's a really low resolution picture.
Low resolution image. These monkeys are probably super annoying. They're like, the gargoyles in Hunchback of Notre Dame and etc. They're probably following her and they're annoying, And then I see there's a little boy. I'm not quite sure who the boy is supposed to be. Maybe her little brother that she wants to fight for. I'm not sure. Anyway, and then eventually she goes to war or something, or battles this bad guy, and they defeat him, and she learns lessons about, I don't know, peace and, forgiving someone. Maybe her friend has a dark history or something, and she forgives her for her actions. Maybe that's too much.
Nice. But it's called The Last Dragon. Do you think?
What about the dragon?
Right,
what's going on with the
Last
dragon?
Okay, so this is kind of a la Dragonheart, I imagine.
Indeed, very much so.
Where she's the last of her kind.
I am the last one.
And then she has to kind of learn about her history of dragons, maybe. But at the end of the day, I'm not quite sure what happens. I guess they defeat this guy, and maybe her dragon race. Maybe there's a point in the movie where her ancestral dragons come back and help or something like that, through magic, like Mulan. That could be it. Or she restores some kind of dragon kingdom, or they discover that. I'm not sure. Cool. Or she just, ends up being her friend and they defeat the bad guys. And then basically everything is restored at the end. It's all good. So how close was I?
Like half.
This is a great story.
Yeah.
You're half right.
You're half right.
Okay.
I think you got all the themes right. I think just the
you got You
mixed up the only thing,
and also ancestral dragons. Spot on.
I think the things you messed up. The lady is the bad guy, and the big fella is her friend.
Oh no, I missed that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, the monkeys are annoying. The kid isn't their brother,
right?
But yeah, he's a kid.
Who's the kid?
He's like a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't give you a lot.
The Forrest Cafe.
Yeah, he's still owner of
The Forrest Cafe. That was great. Good job.
No, but tell me the ending. What happens at the end?
Everything, pieces restored to the land.
Yes.
All the kingdoms reunite.
What's the conflict?
Some weird goobs.
The conflict
you
is
don't
that
even see them in
see,
here.
it's goobs. So the ancient dragons, the dragons of old, protected the people, the kingdom from.
I knew it.
From evil mist. Just evil rage mist.
Yes.
Yeah,
of course.
There's it's like a green blob that mists and angers.
And then they all put their powers together in the orb. They gave it to the dragon, the one on the poster, and then she was able to restore peace to the land, except that all the dragons turned to stone, and then she also turned to stone. I forget about that.
Does the sword have any significance, or is that just...
That's her dad's sword.
That's her dad's sword.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's close. Ancestral.
Stoned.
I said it's passed down.
Yeah. That's true. No, you even the themes and stuff like that, and the past, because basically, and you also said that you go to her childhood. That also happens because
I was just like, wow,
because her dad is let's bring because after the dragon saved everyone and made this orb, her tribe,
Kingdom, orb.
her tribe is the owner of the orb, and the other tribes are like angry at her. And so, like the other lady, her nemesis here, she's from another tribe, and her dad was like, "Let's make peace together." She invites everyone
So there are
over.
tribal rivalries.
Yes. And her dad invites all the tribes over for like some food. And they're both kids at that time. And the other lady tricks her to show her the orb, and then they break the orb and steal, and that's how they become enemies. And everyone's trying
That's
to
how all
stone.
the kingdoms separate. Yeah.
There's desert, yes. Everything's a desert because the
See, I knew that too.
the goop is killing
look,
everyone.
Hats off to the poster maker because they put everything in there.
Yeah.
So, that's good. I mean,
That was
if I
great.
could deduce
I
that,
think we need to do more of this. We need to do more of Jacob looking at a
you guys
poster
can watch
and
the
making
movie
a
and I
story.
can just guess.
You just guess from the
that'd be
poster.
great.
That's it. Podcast over.
That's it. Podcast over.
Yeah.
Nice. We're done here. Next time is going to be something else.
Talk about
else,
mafia and
Disney
shady
Films
business.
now, next time. His
Maybe we can talk
block.
about Raya. No, I'm just kidding. Let's.
Don't you want to
finish
announce
this.
yours? You're going to announce it for the next time.
Oh yeah, the next one is it Harryhausen week?
I don't know. You're the boss.
I don't have my browser open.
I'll look
so
it up.
I
I'll look it
can't.
up. Say goodbye while we're doing this, and I'll just confirm it.
All
Okay,
right. Well,
goodbye.
I saw a clip of you're fond of me lobster, and I would like to watch that movie.
It's coming. It's coming. It's my favorite year of 2019. Favorite movie of 2019. Phil, you have the old Harryhausen films are coming up.
Yes, Harryhausen films. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. I want to hear Jacob. Jacob watched it, but I want to hear Tim's opinion. I want to hear Jacob's opinion of it again, especially now because it's been so long. And also, you guys didn't see Valley of Gwangi, so that's gonna be great.
I don't even think I've seen Clash of the Titans, to be honest. So it's gonna be fun.
All right, fantastic. That's what's happening next time.
Yes.
Ray Harryhausen.
Play us off, Johnny.
He is.
Hit it,
He's just
Johnny.
playing. We're doing a good job.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Next factum. Trial
Okay, guys,
vision.
I have a request. I have a
Yes.
beautiful stopwatch going. And I'm
Yes.
thinking of keeping this
You have a beautiful
breezy,
clock?
lean, and beautiful. Let's go.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. You be the clock master.
But I will also have Clockmaster. I look at the clock.
Yeah, but last time it was just there for show. We're gonna truly honor
Let's
it.
do it. Let's do it.
go.
Let's truly
We don't-
honor it today. Let's
Okay,
go.
we honor the clock, but let's not feel like we're honoring. I mean, like,
No.
like we honor, but it's secret honoring. It's not like
Yeah, secret. No one knows.
yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
These are my cues to when it's.
Okay,
See,
let's go.
look at my screenshot.
I see. Tulinog. Okay, let's go.
So that's 1
Go, come
hour. That's the second hour.
I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm here for anything.